The arena was already loud. But the moment CM Punk grabbed that microphone and looked straight at Roman Reigns, the entire building froze. Because what Punk said next? Nobody expected it. Not the fans. Not the commentators. And judging by the look on Roman's face, not even the bloodline. And if you blinked for even 1 second during WWE Raw, you missed the moment that might have just changed the entire WWE landscape. But here's the craziest part. The ending? It didn't just shock the fans. It might have officially started a war. So before we break down that insane final moment, quick question for the Ring Rumble community. If Roman Reigns and CM Punk had a match tomorrow, who wins? Drop your pick in the comments right now. Team Roman or Team Punk? Because after what happened on Raw, that matchup might be closer than anyone thinks. The night started like many recent Mondays. Tension, rumors, and one giant question floating around the WWE universe. Was CM Punk finally going to confront Roman Reigns face-to-face? For weeks, Punk had been throwing verbal shots. Subtle ones. Sarcastic ones. The kind that make crowds gasp and social media explode. But this time, it wasn't subtle. It wasn't clever. It was personal. And when Roman Reigns' music hit the arena, you could feel the temperature change. The crowd stood up immediately. Phones came out. People started yelling. Because whether you love him or hate him, Roman Reigns walking to the ring is still one of the most dominant sights in wrestling today. Slow steps. Cold stare. The aura of a man who has ruled WWE for years. And right behind him, members of the Bloodline. The group that has helped Roman control the company like a dynasty. But here's a small trivia question for the Ring Rumble fans watching right now. What year did Roman Reigns first become Universal Champion? No Googling. Comment your guess below. Let's see who the real wrestling historians are. Back in the ring, Roman didn't rush. He never does. He held the microphone and looked around the arena like a king surveying his kingdom. Then he said the words that instantly lit the crowd on fire. Everyone here, you're looking at the greatest champion of this generation. Boos. Cheers. Chaos. But Roman kept going. He talked about dominance. About legacy. About how nobody in the locker room had the guts to challenge him anymore. And then he said something that made the entire crowd react. Roman said, "There's only one person who keeps running his mouth lately." Pause. The crowd already knew. They started chanting, CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk. Roman smirked. Then he said it. If CM Punk has something to say, he should come say it to my face. And that's when everything changed. Because the arena lights dimmed. And that familiar static sound hit. The sound that wrestling fans around the world instantly recognize. The music of CM Punk. The roof nearly came off the building. Fans jumped out of their seats. People screaming. People pointing at the stage. Because Punk wasn't supposed to appear this early in the night. But there he was. Walking onto the stage slowly with that same confident smirk. And he looked directly at Roman. No fear. No hesitation. Just a man who looked like he had been waiting a long time for this moment. Before we go further, quick comment challenge. Which CM Punk return moment was bigger? His 2021 return, or this confrontation with Roman Reigns? Type 2021 or Raw 2026 in the comments. Let's settle this debate. Punk didn't rush to the ring. Instead, he stood at the top of the ramp, letting the crowd chant his name. Roman waited, arms crossed. The tension was unbelievable. Finally, Punk lifted the microphone. And the first thing he said? "Oh look, it's the tribal chief." The sarcasm was dripping. The crowd laughed. But Roman didn't. Punk kept walking down the ramp slowly. And here I thought the most fragile ego in WWE belonged to the fans on Twitter. Crowd. OHHHHHH. But he wasn't done. Punk stepped into the ring. Now the two were face to face. And this is where things got uncomfortable. Because Punk looked Roman directly in the eyes and said, "You call yourself the greatest champion of this generation." Pause. But the truth is, you've been hiding behind your family for years. The arena exploded. Roman's jaw tightened. The Bloodline members immediately stepped forward. But Punk didn't back down. Instead, He leaned even closer and said something that nobody expected. "You're not the tribal chief." Another pause. "You're the tribal cheat." The crowd went insane, and the tension inside the ring instantly skyrocketed. Now here's another trivia question for the hardcore fans watching. How many times has CM Punk held the WWE Championship? Type the number in the comments. No cheating. Let's see who knows their wrestling history. Roman finally spoke again, and his tone was completely different now. Cold, serious, dangerous. He told Punk that talking is easy, but standing in the ring with the tribal chief? That's a different story. Roman reminded everyone how many legends he had beaten, how many challengers had fallen. Then he said something chilling. "You came back to wrestling because you missed the spotlight." Roman stepped closer. "But the spotlight belongs to me now." The crowd booed loudly, but Punk just laughed. Actually laughed. And that reaction made Roman even more angry, because Punk then delivered the line that might go down as one of the most savage moments of the year. He said, "You're right about one thing." Pause. "The spotlight does belong to you." Then he pointed at Roman's championship. "But that title? That belongs to whoever survives you." The arena erupted. Commentators were losing their minds. Roman looked ready to snap. At this point, the crowd started chanting something incredible. "Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight." And honestly, it looked like it was about to happen. Roman stepped forward. Punk didn't move. The bloodline surrounded the ring. Fans were standing. The tension was unreal. But then something unexpected happened. Punk raised his hand, not to punch Roman, but to stop the moment. And he said, "Relax." He turned slightly toward the bloodline, then back to Roman. "I'm not here to fight tonight." The crowd booed immediately. But Punk wasn't finished. He leaned toward Roman and said something that completely flipped the situation. "I'm here to expose you." Roman looked confused. The crowd got quiet, and Punk said, "You're not unbeatable. You're protected." Boom. The arena exploded again. Now pause for a quick fan question. Do you think Roman Reigns would still be champion without the bloodline? Type yes or no in the comments. Be honest, because this is one of the biggest debates in wrestling right now. Roman was furious. He told Punk that if he wanted to test that theory, he could do it right now. But before anything could happen, the lights suddenly went out. The crowd gasped. Total darkness. And when the lights came back on, chaos. The bloodline was attacking Punk. 3-on-1. The crowd booed loudly. Roman stood back watching. Just watching. Punk fought back hard though. Punches flying. He knocked one member out of the ring. But numbers eventually caught up. And Punk went down. The beating continued. Fans were screaming for someone to help. Anyone. And then, another theme song hit. The crowd erupted. A superstar sprinted down the ramp. Chairs flying. Bloodline scattering. The crowd was losing their minds. But we'll get to who that was in a second. First, quick comment question. Who do you think is the perfect partner for CM Punk against the bloodline? Name one superstar. Let's see which name appears the most. Back in the ring, chaos was everywhere. Roman looked shocked. Punk was slowly getting back up. The mystery ally stood beside him. And together they stared down the bloodline. The crowd was deafening. But the most shocking moment hadn't happened yet. Because Punk grabbed the microphone one more time. He looked at Roman, smiled, and said the line that instantly sent the wrestling world into meltdown. "You're not the final boss, Roman." Pause. "You're the tutorial level." The arena exploded. Commentators screamed. Roman looked absolutely furious. And just like that, Raw went off the air. No fight. No final resolution. Just Roman staring at Punk with pure rage. And that ending? It might be the beginning of something huge. Because if WWE pulls the trigger on this feud, we could be looking at one of the biggest rivalries of the decade. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Mic skills. Ego. Legacy. Two of the most polarizing figures in wrestling history colliding. And after what Punk said tonight, Roman isn't going to forget that anytime soon. Before you go, two final questions for the Ring Rumble community. If CM Punk versus Roman Reigns happens, should it main event WrestleMania? Comment main event or not yet. And the final trivia challenge. What year did CM Punk deliver his famous pipe bomb promo? If you know, you know.
Drop the year in the comments.
Because if this Raw proved anything, it's that CM Punk isn't afraid of Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns definitely isn't used to being disrespected like that. Which means the next time these two share a ring, it might not end with words. It might end with a war. And if tonight was only the beginning, then the WWE Universe better get ready. Because the Tribal Chief just met the one man crazy enough to challenge his throne. And something tells me, this story is far from over.